All right, let's just get right into the review, shall we? If you like content like this, consider subscribing. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, this chapter, some good stuff, some terrible stuff. I gotta say, holy cow. So yeah, let's just get right into it. All right. Okay, so chapter 1,106 on your side, and we figure out what that means. Pretty cool that we see, the Giants coming back. Pretty neat. But we'll get to that when we get to it. As we get to yeah, Egghead, as we see the mysterious ship arriving, as they say, they're really going at it. It's just like the newspaper said. And then we get Luffy essentially digesting the food. Obviously we've seen that before. He could easily digest like a large amounts of food pretty easily, which is all right. It makes sense for him, because he's got the Gom Gom no Mi. Pretty makes sense here. But I remember on Wano, Kid could do the same. I was not a fan of that. I believe it was Kid. That he did the same thing where he ate it and he started compressing down like same thing with Luffy. I didn't like that because that was odd to me, but Luffy makes sense to me. And essentially, the Marines are surprised by this, which honestly, I kind of would be too, to be honest. And then, yeah, the Buster calls happening, and they're just essentially just blowing away all their own people because, of course, why not? Because the world government's evil. I mean, their leaders are demons, so yeah. And as that's happening, the Marines just continue on the barrage. And right there, we see Vegapunk calling Atlas right there. And he's like, Atlas, come in. And Saturn's just like, shoot down that pathetic family as all the Kumas, Mach 3s just aim up, get ready to fire a blast. As Vegapunk continues to Atlas, let Bonnie know. And she says, understand. And she goes right up to Bonnie and speaks some words to Bonnie, which is obviously, that it's interesting that I gotta give it to Vegapunk. This is actually smart on him. I did not think of this, and this is actually again pretty smart that Vegapunk gave Bonnie the ability to be able to communicate telepathically to the Kumas. Well, not telepathically. She shouts out, to them so that they'll be able to listen to her. And the reason Vegapunk did that is because obviously he's afraid, that these Kumas were obviously eventually going to catch up with her because she's a pirate. So he programmed a failsafe in them that they, instead of attacking Bonnie, they would help her if Bonnie speaks out to them. So I really like that. I like that Vegapunk implemented that into the Kumas. I didn't expect that, to be honest, but yeah, pretty smart. I gotta give Oda. Like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, Oda. That makes freaking sense for this. I like it a lot. And as she's telling the Kumas, she refers to them as Daddy, please don't shoot. Help us escape this island instead. And right there, the Marines are like, what in the world's going on? Like, do you hear something? And all the Kumas start turning to the Marines and just start blasting them. I remember reading, I was like, holy free, like, okay. And Vegapunk even goes into saying, I've had the thing that kept me up at night when I was building these Kumas is that one day I know they'll go after you. So this is when Vegapunk created a system in there, and he says that they'll listen to you above even the elders. The Goros say they'll listen to you above them, and yeah, pretty good. I gotta give it to Vegapunk. I gotta give it to Oda. Like that's pretty good. I like that. Like that part. I like a lot. And right there, as Vegapunk's going to narration, saying that I'm glad that I was able to help you. Then we see Saturn impale Vegapunk, with Saturn just having like a massive vein in his face, just angry at Vegapunk. He's like, as Vegapunk essentially knows, yeah, this is a betrayal that will have no mercy. And right there we get yeah, everyone just shouting Vegapunk, and Saturn's like, Kizaru, eliminate them and be quick about it. As Kizaru goes point blank, fires lasers, and we know he's going for the kill shots. But of course, this is when Oda comes in. He's like, nah, all our heroes survive all these attacks. Plot armor, absolute hideous plot armor. Absolutely. Do you guys remember when Kizaru? Because remember, Kizuru's actually attempting to kill them. Do you remember when Kizuru jumped into the air and fired lasers at a lost ship as it was escaping with Luffy? How much he shot at it? And right here, Kizuru is just hitting. He essentially hits everyone that could survive it. That could survive a laser hit. Anyone else that can't survive a laser hit gets it misses. Of course. And then Kizuru goes up with the sword. He just says, "I'll make sure to get you both in one slash, so you can be together. It won't hurt a bit, Bonnie." So I like that part that Kizuru's like, I still feel bad for you, but I'm still gonna slice you, so at least you'll die quickly. You will not suffer. I like that about Kizuru, and he's going about that. Of course, Luffy right on time because Oda's like, you know what? Our hero's back. He got food, and he disappeared. How did that happen? Don't think about it, because you know what? Luffy's the main character. He's got to save the day. That's hideous writing, Oda. Like that is hideous. And of course, Luffy comes right back on time, just slams Kizuru out of the way. Luffy gear fifth, full power again. And as that's happening, our heroes fall to the ground, and Saturn's just pretty peeved at this. As Bonnie goes up to Vegapunk. Okay, remember this. Saturn was right in front of Vegapunk. Right in front of Vegapunk. Because he stabbed him. And that now that our heroes landed, Saturn is not near them. What happened? What the freak happened? Plot, that's what happened. And then we get the robot waking up. And then we get Bonnie hearing the drums of liberation coming from Luffy as she looks up and she sees Luffy in the air, just doing his dance. Good stuff, element. I like that. Like that. That's actually some good stuff there. That's a good payoff there as that's happening, and it's unfortunate. I like to think Kuma, his subconscious recognizes this is happening, like hearing the drums of liberation. Like that's cool. I like that. Like, well, when I say I like that, like I like to think that's what that like we'll get something for Kuma about that. Not that we need to, but I feel like Oda, the way Oda writes, we're gonna get something from that, which I'd appreciate. Something like that because I like Kuma a lot. And then we get Vegapunk just bleeding out again. Vegapunk should be dead because he's well. When I say normal human, he doesn't have no devil fruit power as far as we're aware. He has never experimented on his body because why would he? The only time he ever did was just to separate his brains to create more Vegapunks. And he says the Buster Call is a tame problem for him. People all over the world have been waiting for his arrival for hundreds of years. And then we get yeah, the Vikings have arrived. Oh boy, I can't say I saw them coming. I cannot say I saw them coming at all. Ronnie and Bonnie just arriving as they start just they land. They just start slicing up Marine ships, and the Marines are just freaking out as they're like, "What in the world is emergency? It's the giant pirates. They're here." Okay, Groggy and Bonnie, they can't be the only them two, right? It can't be because they say that they arrived to pick up. Essentially, they're here to pick up the straw hats to get them because they were told to. Obviously, more than likely by Shanks. That's my best bet. To be honest, I didn't expect these dudes to be coming and arriving to help. But yeah, it's just interesting that oh, that's the end of the chapter, by the way. That they arrived and yeah, so it can't just be them two, right? Because honestly, I'd expect Kizuro to easily just one shot them all. But again, this is Oda we're talking about, so who knows, right? And also, I can't honestly see them holding off Saturn. Like I could, because Saturn's like pretty powerful, but he's not like extremely like over OP. Like Kizuro, he's not at all. Um. So yeah, I see. Cause it has to be more than just them two, right? Because you got all the Marines, and then you got the vice admirals, right? Which I assume if all of them gained up, they probably would be able to hold off them for a bit. And I don't think they're able to hold them off indefinitely. But then you got the Kumas, firing at the Marines, attacking the Marines. So Oda had a very smart way of turning this battle around on the Marines. I'll admit that. I'll give it to you, Oda. The only part I didn't like is the hideous plot armor. Luffy, still somehow able to survive, not being captured by the Marines, disappearing, and then eating a ton of food. How did that happen? Don't worry about it. Kizaru missing point blank at the Straw Hats and Vegapunk and not Vegapunk, well Vegapunks technically, and Bonnie, and also Luffy arriving just on time to knock Kizaru out of the way, and also Saturn just mysteriously farther back from Bonnie. That's hideous. That's also absurdly hideous. But yeah, besides that, like the rest of the thing, Vegapunk having the Kumas having that initiation, that switch, good stuff. Bonnie looking up and seeing, Luffy doing the dance and the drums of liberation, good stuff. Um, Bunny and Groggy coming in to save the straws. Like, okay, I mean, what's it, Elbaf, right? That island's, I guess, not that far away from here. Well, I mean, not that far. I mean, it's within the vicinity, so it makes sense that them two would arrive to help the Straw Hats if they were told to by more likely by Shanks. So again, that's pretty cool, I gotta say. But hmm, but I'm gonna rate this chapter probably 5 out of 10. No, 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. The armor is just hideous in this. It's just too bad. It's like very very too bad. Like there's good stuff, but the terrible just completely outweighs it here. So yeah, 4 out of 10. If you think I'm being too harsh, let me know in the comment section. But yeah, it was just bad. The plot armor, I couldn't believe it. It was bad. It was very distracting, but everything else, not bad. I liked it. So yeah, yeah, that concludes my video. If you listen this far, if you listen to my rant, this is what I do here. I am honest and fair, and if the chapters are terrible, they're terrible. I like one. I'm still a One Piece fan, but if it's bad, I'm gonna say it is. That's just the way I roll. So anyway, that concludes my video. And if you guys did listen this far, I appreciate y'all, and you guys have a great day. Take care.